If anyone, and I mean anyone, has seen the Red Sox offense, please return it to their team. Meet them in Baltimore because this is getting just silly at this point. Welcome into the Locked On Red Sox podcast. Happy Thursday. Not so happy if you're tuning in right after the Red Sox 1-0 loss to the Blue Jays on Thursday to end this series. Yes, they did not tote out their best offensive lineup. However, you get a great start from Garrett Whitlock. The pitching is keeping you in this game, and the offense is not there. I am your host, NESN's Lauren Campbell. I will be flying solo today. Thank you for dealing with this wonky week with us here on Locked On Red Sox this week and making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. We are going to recap Wednesday's game, Thursday's game. We're going to do a little bit of the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's some good when it comes to the pitching, which is still a surprise to me. The bad is this offense, which, much like the pitching, is a surprise to me. So there's a lot to break down. There's a lot to react to. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This Mother's Day, give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off $500. Use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. So let's start with some positive here on this show, and that's the pitching, which is surprising, honestly, because going into this season, there was so many question marks surrounding this pitching, especially after Chris Sale went down with a stress fracture, easy for me to say, in March, right before spring training officially started. So the good here is Wednesday, the Red Sox won 7-1, season high 13 hits, and it seemed to be clicking for them. And I said in an earlier episode this week that all the Red Sox needed to do was get one win and just start cruising from there. And I thought Wednesday, I was like, let's go. This is it. This is that win that's going to get the Red Sox winning 8 out of 10, maybe rattling off 10 wins in a row. Oh boy, I was humbled Thursday, that's for sure. But the pitching in Wednesday's game was good. You get another solid start from Michael Wacha, who's just been fabulous for the Red Sox this season. He went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and struck out 5. And you're getting these starters to go deeper into games. He's been wonderful this season. He going into Wednesday's game, or after Wednesday's game, I'm sorry, he's pitched 20 and a third innings with an ERA under 2. It's 177, I believe. And it's surprising in a good way because there was a lot of questions surrounding Wacha. When the Red Sox signed him, it was kind of like, okay, like, does he really help this rotation? Sure as hell does, because he's been one of the best, if not the best starter in this rotation. And he's just been incredible. And he's really given all that he can to help the Red Sox win. And also in Wednesday's game, Jake Dickman got a chance to redeem himself after kind of a meltdown on Tuesday's game. He did get a strikeout, got out of a crucial inning. Hirokazu Sawamura had a strikeout, and the bullpen held it together. And it helped that the offense was there too. I mean, everyone was contributing. That was also a plus to see. You had Xander Bogaerts go 4 for 4 with 2 runs, a walk, and an RBI. So that was a very encouraging to see. And like I said, just the offense as a whole coming alive for a pitcher. So you're giving your pitcher run support. Your pitchers are holding their opponents to minimal runs, limiting the walks and getting outs. And Michael Wacha, like I said, has been absolutely fabulous for this Red Sox team. I truly hope he can keep this up and keep this consistency because, oh boy, the Red Sox need all the positiveness that they can get right now because this is getting really, really annoying. And it's just, this team is so much better than what it is. And we know that. Like I said, it's just that one win and they need to just rattle off and carry that momentum over. They had all the momentum in their favor going into Thursday's game. Now, I know they did not roll out the best offensive lineup. It's a getaway day. You want to rest your better players. But at the same time, wins are so crucial right now, especially against AL East opponents. You're going into a weekend series against the Baltimore Orioles, who the Red Sox realistically should beat, but you just never know with baseball and how this season is going for them. But Thursday, fans also were able to see Garrett Whitlock start for the second time this season. Yeah, much like Michael Wacha, he did everything he could for the Red Sox to win. But as Mets fans and Jake DeGrom fans know all too well, a pitcher can do everything he can. He can give you his all. He can give you one hit. He can give you one unearned run, one earned run, and the offense just dies. It's just dead. There's nothing there. These bats are just, there's nothing. There's nothing there. And that's kind of what happened on Thursday. Garrett Whitlock, he did only go 3 innings, gave up 4 hits. He walked 2, struck out 2, but you are trying to stretch him out into the starter role. Yes, he did go longer in his first appearance, but you need to be slow with him and you need to be patient with him. And I still think he did what he could do to help this team win. Now we have to be patient with Garrett Whitlock because he is being stretched out into that starter role. So we don't want to put too much pressure on him. It hurts a little more that the Blue Jays run is unearned. So when you look at the bullpen and you look at what they did and the pitchers, what they did as a whole, the stats look pretty good. There's no earned runs there. But again, the Red Sox, with this offense that they have, they should be able to muster runs, and nothing is going right for this offense. And it's this pitching that's just been really good for the Red Sox, and especially the last 2 games. And what's really frustrating about Garrett Whitlock, especially, is because he's 0-2, or the Red Sox are 0-2 in his starts. And he's thrown 7 combined innings. So he had 3 today and then 4 in his last start. The Red Sox offense in those 2 starts have 6 hits. 6 hits. That's it. You're not going to help your pitcher by getting 6 combined hits in his 2 starts. I don't think the starts for Garrett Whitlock, I don't think that's going to rattle him or anything. I think that he's a very confident guy. He knows he's got good stuff, and getting stretched out, he's going to be patient, and he's going to, he signed an extension here, so he's going to be really patient. But at what point do the Red Sox need to make a change in their lineup? Or they've switched up their lineup a little bit here and there, but do they need to make some sort of major shakeup? Do they need to call up Tristan Casas to maybe get Bobby Dahlbeck started again? They do need to figure out their closer situation. I know Jake had a very hearty rant about the closer situation in Wednesday's episode. So, that's another area to address too. But when you look at the pitching overall, you would think that we'd be complaining more about the pitching than the offense. And I don't think that I'm ever going to get over the fact that the pitching hasn't been the bigger issue in these games. It's the offense. And we saw this in the ALCS last year, where all of a sudden the leagues and the AL's best offense can't do anything. And it's like, just hit the ball. And that's easy for me to say. I'm not a professional athlete. These baseballs are coming 90 to 100 miles an hour down the plate. And yes, the umpiring has been kind of bad, not just in the Red Sox games, but across the league. It's been really, really ugly. But it's just the impatience there. And you're not doing your pitchers any favors. You're not helping them go back out there with the confidence they need to try to shut these games out. They're going to give you their all no matter what. But when you have Michael Wacha on the mound, when you have Garrett Whitlock on the mound, and they're doing all you can, maybe not Michael Wacha from Wednesday because they did end up winning, but you have Nate Eovaldi who goes 7 innings and you can't win. This cannot be a trend all season. If it is, it's going to be a very, very long season. But Garrett Whitlock, Michael Wacha, bright spots for this team. I think they'll continue to be bright spots for this team. And Michael Wacha has been incredible. He's been really reliable. And I'm glad I can say that because I had a lot of doubt going into this season about him. And I'm happy to see Whitlock as a starter. I was very team Whitlock for closer at the beginning of the season, and maybe I still am. They don't have a closer. But the pitching, like I said, it's not the biggest issue here. It's the offense. And we're going to talk more about the offense and just how it's been really this whole season. But first, I'm very excited to tell you about BlueNile.com. At BlueNile.com, you can celebrate all of life's special moments, from creating the custom engagement ring of your dreams to gifting a classic, timeless jewelry piece at all prices you won't find at a traditional jeweler. You'll find amazing diamond necklaces, cocktail rings, tennis bracelets, gold layering jewelry, which is very much in these days. Jewelry is typically given as a gift, specifically focused on Mother's Day. You want to give mom a nice bracelet or a nice necklace, maybe a nice ring with your birthstones in it. And whether she prefers a statement piece or everyday subtle elegance, BlueNile.com has fine jewelry options for every single mom out there. Shop high quality classic diamond earrings, elegant tennis bracelets, or gemstone pendant necklaces, which I know my mom will absolutely love. I can't wait to customize one for her for Mother's Day. She 100% deserves this. This Mother's Day, give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com. Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off their $500 purchase. This podcast exclusive is only good through Mother's Day, so use code LOCKED ON. That's code LOCKED ON. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. So if you are trying to hide an engagement ring, don't worry, it will not be obvious that that's exactly what it is. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. Thank you for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen. And for your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast. Recaps of MLB games with analysis from our local experts, taking fans through the season like no other network. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So we talked about some good in the first segment of Locked On Red Sox, which was Michael Wacha, Garrett Whitlock, and just kind of the pitching as a whole. Now we have to talk about the bad, which is not the fun part, but it's the part that is a lot of the reason why the Red Sox are really struggling right now. Yes, we can sit here and say they had a shortened spring training. Yes, we can sit here and say it's still early. It's only April. The Red Sox usually struggle in April. They need to get their swing, they need to build their chemistry. And even though it's early, it's still, we're approaching May now, right? We're 20 games into the season, and the Red Sox, it's just like they don't know how to hit anymore. And they're really starting to piss off my grandma, which we do not want. We don't want her to be mad at all. And she is just through the roof, and not in a good way. She is really, really mad. She's 93 years old, and she's sitting there being like, why are you swinging at that? Why can't they hit? Maybe I should just go manage them. I don't know. They need a swift kick in the pants is what she says. And I'm beginning to believe her. I would not want to argue with her anyway, but this offense is just, it's really tough to watch. And it's between the lack of plate patience, swinging at the first pitch, swinging at the second pitch, swinging at pitches way out of the zone. And sure, you can say some of it is that the umpires have been really bad, not just with Red Sox, but throughout the league. Angel Hernandez is Angel Hernandez, but it's, I just see these professional athletes swinging at pitches that they don't normally swing at, missing pitches way out of the zone. And I'm just like, relax, step out of the box for a minute, take a deep breath. And I know that the baseballs are more dead than they have been in seasons past, and balls are falling faster, and they should be home runs, but they're all of a sudden just dying in midair. But the Red Sox can't even get the ball far enough for it to just die. This offense is really, really struggling. And it was great to see Wednesday because you had that glimpse. You saw the 13 hits. You saw Xander Bogaerts get on base 5 times and go 4 for 4 on the afternoon or on the night. And you just saw the offense come together. And that's what had me thinking, oh, yeah, like this is it. This is that one win that they need to just kind of get the ball rolling. JBJ and Bobby Delbeck were the only 2 players to not have hits. Bobby Delbeck is a big concern of his own, all on his own. We could do a whole episode about should the Red Sox call up Tristan Casas, because Bobby Delbeck is just really, really struggling right now while Casas is raking in Worcester. And going into this season, we were not just here on Locked On Red Sox, but ESPN, other MLB analysts, they were saying that this offense is really good and the offense is dangerous. This offense is going to carry this Red Sox team through the season. Oh boy, we look silly right now because that's just not the case. And it makes you wonder, when do we stop saying it's still early, a shortened spring training? When do the excuses stop? Because I'm beginning to think, I don't think this is what this team is. I do think that they will figure it out. But when do you stop saying the excuses and making excuses and holding them accountable? And when do you start being like, okay, this offense needs to get going? When does Alex Cora make a shakeup? When does Kike Hernandez go on a 15-game hit streak? Does Bobby Dalbec ever catch fire? Like, there's so many questions in this lineup, and it's just, you look at Xander Bogaerts and you're like, okay, like, I'm comfortable with him batting. You're probably comfortable with Rafael Devers, but Trevor Story's been fine. I think that, again, he just needs to adjust to a new team. But again, there's another excuse. And it's excuse after excuse for this offense. And with May approaching, we're almost a month into this season. And it's just, when does the offense start, and when does this drought end? This is such an exciting time in Boston sports. You have the NFL draft beginning Thursday night. You don't know if the Patriots are going to make their pick at 21. By the time you listen to this, they've probably already traded away their pick. The Boston Bruins begin their Stanley Cup playoff action next week. The Celtics begin their Eastern Conference semifinals against the Bucks this weekend on Sunday. We should be so excited as Boston fans that it's a really exciting time here in New England to be a sports fan. And the Red Sox are just sucking the wind out of everyone's sails. They are being big fun suckers. And we're not about that here on Locked On Red Sox. We want to talk about wins. We want to talk about Wednesday's win. That's what we want to talk about, much more than what we've been talking about with the losses. But this is, I've said this a lot in the 20 games. This is why we play 162 games. It's a long season, and it's only going to be longer if the offense cannot figure it out. I think that with Xander Bogaerts really coming into form and just being kind of a steady piece there, and I think that he's the unofficial captain of this team, right? So I do think he's going to be able to jumpstart this team. I do think the return of Alex Cora will help. He was out for the last few games. He returned Wednesday after a bout with COVID-19. But overall, this offense has been so disappointing. And all this Red Sox team needed to do on Thursday, you're leaving so many men in scoring position. You're leaving so many men on base. You have the lineup to push these guys across the plate, and they're not doing it. And it's just becoming the same old song and dance. It's Beauty and the Beast. Story is a tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. The Red Sox offense is dead, and that needs to be revived, because this is just, I know it's early. I should not be this angry over the offense. But when you look at batters 1 through 6, those are a threat, and they are not right now through April 28th, 2022. And I've said, if we're still talking about this come mid-May or late May, early June, then yeah, this is a problem. May's almost here, and we're still talking about this offense being a problem. And I'm still confident they'll figure it out, that they'll turn it around. But they need to do this immediately. They need to do this now. You're going into a series against the Orioles. This is the perfect time to turn things on. Get the bats going, get the pitchers, continue to build their confidence, and sweep the Orioles. Take 2 out of 3. I'd be happy with that. You cannot keep losing series to AL East opponents, and to AL East opponents like the Orioles that you should be beating. But let's jump into our third segment of the Locked On Red Sox podcast. Let's do our mental health minute, end this show with a nice cleansing note, because this Red Sox team is probably spiking our blood pressure. But first, I want to tell you about BetOnline, because betonline.net is your #1 source for all of your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NBA playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and so much more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and all the action. BetOnline is great if you're a new bettor or first-time bettor. It's super laid out for you. You will not be confused. That's BetOnline, where the game starts. So let's jump into our mental health minute. Let's end this show kind of, like I said, on a cleansing note, on a happy note. And I just wanted to take a minute and just thank all of our listeners. Thank you for dealing with this wonky week that Jake and I have been having. I have been under the weather for almost 2 weeks now, and I cannot get rid of this cough. I am begging for an ounce of relief. Thank God for editing software, because you will never hear me cough on the podcast. And we appreciate you just kind of dealing with our solo shows this week. Jake and I love doing these shows together, so we can bring you both of our reactions and our analysis and everything in between. So just thank you for dealing with the weird week that is. We're not here without you. We love doing this show. And even though I'm still battling this stupid cold, there's nothing I look forward to more in my day than getting on here and talking about the Red Sox, even when they're making me mad, even when I'm sure they're making you mad too. But we can be mad together. But let's hope for a better series against the Orioles. Let's hope this offense comes alive. Let's hope these pitchers continue to pitch well. And let's hope that our next episode, we're talking about wins, and not just one win, but like 2-3 wins. Let's sweep the Orioles, please. Thank you for tuning in for today's Locked On Red Sox episode. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to Locked On Red Sox right here on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast is where you can find us. Follow Locked On Red Sox on Twitter at LO_Red Sox. Jake at Jake Iggy, and me at La Lauren, 3 Laws, Lauren with 4 R's. Find all of my work, my written work on NESN.com. Tons of Red Sox stuff, tons of Bruins stuff, especially as they gear up for their Stanley Cup playoff run. Be sure to check out all the other MLB shows across the Locked On network. Locked On A's, Orioles, Yankees, Rays, Jays. There's something for everyone here. Everyone puts in such hard work. Go check them out. And now that you have made Locked On Red Sox your first listen, head on over to Locked On MLB to make it your second listen. Friend of the show, friend of mine, Paul Francis Sullivan, but please call him Sully, gives you his unique perspective of major leaguers, both past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. Have a great day. We'll see you soon. Let's go, Red Sox.